Alright. It's time for round number 2 of our human draft. Done through everyone's best friend, Justlolaman's. We're going to be running a red and a blue deck based around this friendo, who will give us counters for playing enchantments. We don't know who it is we're going to be playing against. We do know the loser will go on to play against Sizik. So far, I've yet to take a single loss with this deck. So, there's a long way to go, I suppose. Let's see. Our opponent seems to be a little bit less here than I would have expected, but we'll see. Sometimes the direct challenge is a little funny. There we go. Alright. Our opponent says GL. We'll say GLHF. Let's see who's going to be the best. So what have we got? Oof, not a great opening hand, but not the worst in the world. 2 of our forecasts, none of our cheapest stuff at all. But I think it's playable. Let's do it! Ooh. So if we lose here, we'll drop down into the lower brackets. This is a double elimination in Magic the Gathering Arena tournament. No idea at all about what our opponent is playing. I suspect we'll find out shortly. I think they just mulliganed. So that's good. Even though we don't get to do anything for the first 4 turns, they may not get to do anything for the whole game. Here's hoping. This is best of 3 as well. So I have to deal with sideboarding. I think I've remembered to sideboard out everything from round 1, which I sideboarded in because I only sideboarded 1 card from the side deck to the main deck. I've got... The draft went pretty well for this deck, so I've actually got a decent amount of stuff on the side that I can swap in and out. The main thing I can bring in, which I haven't at the moment, is a bunch of counter spells. Oh boy, yeah, our opponent's mulligan down to 5. This is great news for us. Alright, well, let's bang out some stuff. Both of our things are double-costed blue and green, so that's going to be fun. Ooh, sick. Alright, well, let's get one of each out. Play with Demo as Prophecy, and then in 2 turns' time, when we play the Voracious Typhoon, then we'll be good to go. Everything else is really expensive too. Yeah. We don't need another Nixborn Seaguard. The Brawler's pretty good, and we're only 1 mana off being able to play it. So I think we can probably get away with it. Alright, so we name the type... So we choose a card name next time round. So we wouldn't want to choose anything like Ferris Bandroller, which becomes considerably worse. Were someone to know it. So, Typhoon. Voracious Typhon. Not Typhoon. What are we talking about? Alright, so still can't play anything. Our opponent has got Temple Thief, which is kind of annoying against certain kinds of decks where you're playing heavily towards the enchantment creature side of things. But in this case, we're not tremendously. We are a little bit. So gotta remember, we're playing the Typhon this turn, otherwise we'll feel real dumb. There we go, 2 draws. Looking pretty good. We got tons of card. Our opponents have got very, very minimal stuff. Oh, and they've whiffed on the Acolyte of Affliction as well. Well, they've got a land back, but... Okay. Sick. Alright, everyone's drawing lands next time. That's fun. So, we've got the Warbriar's Blessing. We can start clearing out our opponent's field. I guess there aren't too many things we can do that will really cause stuff to go wrong at this point. But... We've got 5 mana, we've got nothing that costs 5. These guys together, I suppose, cost 5? There's not actually anything we're tremendously worried about running into at this point, so I think we could... Let's see. So if we attack, our opponent blocks with 2 creatures. probably. Yeah, actually, I'm okay with this. I'm kind of curious to see what our opponent does here. So they mulligan down to 5. They don't care about getting in the face, which is fine. We'll throw in our druid then. Oh, he's big enough to block everyone. And both of these are very good, so I kind of want to hold off on using them, even though I could use them now, just because some of the stuff they've got out there is such low value. I mean, the Temple Thief is going to be able to get in for a couple, but whatever. Not really worried about that. I'm just waiting to see, really, if there's something more worthwhile for our Band Brawler to be able to smash directly in the face, or if it's just going to be a case of, like, just kill a 2-2. We can always flash a Starlit Mantle onto our Band Brawler to make it able to deal with some bigger stuff as well. But I don't think we have to. So let's get in with our Typhon to start with. Okay. There we go. Hopefully we get to 2 for 1 here. Unless our opponent's got something weird. Oh, yes, the Labyrinth. Nice. Good. Didn't remember to take account of the Labyrinth, which is going to be very annoying, as it will be able to remove all our creatures and mess us around. We've got a pretty good board. They still don't really have anything worse as 4 bars gripping. Ugh. Death Touch, huh? That's probably the worst thing for our Band Brawler, because it's just going to kill it right dead. The Voracious Typhon has to get into the graveyard at some point to come back as a 7/7. Our creatures are both... Ugh. Might be tempted to get rid of the Temple Thief just because it's going to get in again and again, but I think Band Brawler will get rid of it straight away. And hey, nice. Alright, Prophecy will let us refresh our hand. It's pretty good. Do we want to trade this for the Hierophant? That's a very big cost. But... something's going to die here. So we've got a 5/5 or a 4/4. It's hard to say where to go for this. I think we can clear the way with this one anyway. This definitely doesn't feel great. Ugh. For some reason I started playing a little bit sloppy. Oh, there we go. That's something that's worth killing. Okay. So our graveyard is at 3. We need to have more. Alright, let's Prophecy and see what we're going to be able to get. Okay. Yeah, I like the Singer. So the Nightmare Shepherd would have let our opponent go through and get a ton of extra stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. The Singer's going to be nice though. It's kind of a not counter spell, a combat trick. Let's chuck in our Seaguard. No, that's just going to get blocked by the Acolyte of Affliction. Typhon we could chuck in and it would throw all of its extra stuff in the graveyard, but I think it's too good to not keep around as a 5/7. I think the escape is more of an option which we're going to throw around later on. But I don't want to really just trade it off with a bunch of kind of crappy creatures just for the sake of getting it to be escapable. Let's see, so Mogi's Favor is in the graveyard, which is +2/-1, I believe? Yeah. Which can be escaped. Our opponent's got a deep graveyard full of stuff that could be escaped. So we'll see what they end up doing. Okay. So it's going to be a sort of rush down with the Temple Thief idea. Which I can dig. That makes sense. The Threnody Singer is going to be quite nice here. Right. Because it's going to function in two different ways. It's going to allow us to really mess up the Temple Thief, and it's also going to function as a pretty good place for Hydra's Growth to end up hanging out as the goat worth its weight in fluff. And we're going to have ourselves a big Threnody Singer, which should take down Temple Thief to be small enough so that the Singer doesn't die. Ooh. They've got a lot of devotion to black. It almost looks like I'm way open for the taking. So I need to... yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3 devotion to black. Devotion to black, devotion to blue. So Temple Thief is about to meet a most inauspicious end. There we go. Lovely. It's time to Hydra's Growth. Get ourselves 2 cards. We can do a little bit of scrying and drawing. Don't need any more land. I think we could probably do better than that. Turns out that is the case. Okay. Let's enchant our land and play a giant for 1. Ha 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 ha. Very silly. I guess it's relatively easy to be overly cocky in a game which the opponent has mulligan down to 5 in. But it looks like we're playing against a more control style that they're trying to build. They're trying to build up a board presence and use devotion. So I don't know if we've got anything specifically that would help with that. Maybe the counterspell stuff? The opponent seems to be building up towards like a sort of specific kind of big plays kind of idea. So counterspells. The Wolfwill of Haven. I think we can afford to ditch this. I think we can afford to ditch the Eidolon as well. Sleep of the Dead. I think that's worthwhile. Let's try bringing in a couple of memory drains. I don't know if this is right or not. We're putting in 1 memory drain, and I actually don't want Towering Wave Mystic. I think that's particularly bad. I'm trying to think what we actually do want though. Maybe I'm being a little bit too... okay. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll end up in a similar situation. Well, I don't know. This isn't exactly a prize tournament, so I guess wanting our opponent to mulligan to 5 again isn't the most productive of things, because there's not anything to be gained from just having an opponent who just didn't get anywhere. Oh boy. So this is a real nice hand, except we don't have any mana to play any of it. I kind of feel like this is good enough that if we have to wait a few turns to get blue mana, would probably be right. Seaguard is particularly bad, but everything else is okay. I think risk it. It is game number 2 of the best of 3, so it's not... If this goes disastrously badly, it's not the end of the series, at least. I think I can afford to take a few more risks at this point. As expected, the Temple Thief is going to be hanging around. Yeah, the thing which I would have thought to brought it against the Temple Thief would have been the 2-1, but it's a 2-1 who puts stuff in their graveyard and they're playing really an escape deck, so that seems counterproductive. So Eutropa the Twice Favoured is something amazing that we picked up from the draft, and oh, there we go. Lovely. So we can... We'll have to take a couple of hits directly to the face here, but it does mean that we're in a pretty good spot as long as Eutropa survived. They could have the -3/-3 aura, but they don't. Nightmare Shepherd is pretty bad for us, but fortunately... we can just Ichthyomosis that one. It's not the most amazing use for our mana. But it stops us getting hit in the face for next time, and also takes away the ability for the Discordant Piper to hit us, so I think we're going to do it. I'd rather be able to use all of my mana on a given turn, but I have to hold off on that one. There's the -3/-3. Okay, I think it's gonna have to... This one's an enchantment creature, so he's not going to block. So I think I'm just gonna throw down my 3/3, let it get killed. At least the Discordant Piper can't get mogied. Okay. I can live with that. Do I play the Prophecy now, or do I hold off on it? I think... the problem is, from here on out, I can... if anything happens to the Wave Rider, I will just lose. So I think I can hold off for a turn. Okay, good thing I did that. Okay. Board is officially stabilized. Neither of these are particularly useful right now, so toss them. Alright. the problem I've got is that the only creature I can block the Temple Thief with, which I'm definitely coming to see as a pretty gnarly card, is the Wave Rider. So again, if anything happens to the Wave Rider, I'm in real trouble. Oh, with Midoma's Prophecy as well, I think I messed that up pretty badly. Because I don't know, unless I get a card with a given name off the top of my deck, which I don't, then I've made a big mess of things. Yeah, I should have kept... I haven't used Midoma's Prophecy a whole lot, so I'm just gonna go out and say, what's my best possible outcome? It's gonna be that, and hope we get that. Okay. So Nyxborn Seagull could get in. Because either they're trading for two things, or they are just being let through. Am I going to be saying to myself, what a dummy? Yes, I am. Alright, you got anything? I'm pretty much screwed. So, what is our opponent doing? Yeah. Okay, well, I won't make that mistake with Midoma's Prophecy again. Got to use one of the cards that I scribe. At least we've gotten rid of one of the biggest threats directly to us, so we can actually... They're gonna get... This is gonna get Mogi, it's gonna go up to 5-1. Which is okay. I don't feel like you should be able to win a game in which you directly misplay a card. I kind of understand at least a little more of the theming. Yeah. Midoma's Prophecy, I understand the theming a little bit better now, at least. Well, that attack was absolutely not worth it. Okay, on to round 3. I'm starting to think that the... the counter spells would have been pretty good. I think, though, I'm going to bring in the Thundering Chariot as effectively an extra creature. We don't have an enormous amount of way of directly interacting with our opponent's board, so let's see how it goes. I think keeping the one colour hand was a mistake, though. Alright. Let's see if we can stay in the upper bracket. Cool. Much better. Much, much better. So Moss Viper will deal very well with anything opponent plays. Midoma's Prophecy means that we fix our draws for the time being. Okay. Cool. Not too worried about getting hit in the face by Discord and playing it a couple of times. Okay. Let's give it up for Omen of the Sea. Now, the big problem for Midomi's Prophecy is that you're kind of locked into playing that card on that turn. Feels awful to be using multiple life with Temple Thief, but I'm just aware of how much damage Temple Thief put in before. Alright. This should put us in a pretty good spot. I think we've got basically just... At this point, I feel like the only thing that's likely to stop us from winning is something nasty like that. Okay, that's worth knowing about. Okay, I think we probably need to throw down a Sea Guard to get in the way. Does that give us room for anything else on this turn? Not really. It's a shame. I would have liked to have gotten a Midomi's Prophecy off. We know at least we're drawing a land next time round. And we're trying to get to the point where we can throw out the Brine Giant. There is another copy of Eutropia, but that one's definitely not coming back. Okay, well we're in a nice spot here that we've got such a good lineup for the Band Brawler. And so, let's get with the smashing. Wham! And the dirt is gone. Lovely. Just in time for Minion's return to not come back. Gotta remember though, watch out for 3 black mana being open. Alright, multiple prophecies. Gotta love it. So let's start getting them ticking. Let's have that a little bit earlier. Do we hold off on Midomi? I think so. I quite like to be able to, even though this is probably, well actually no, we can play this for free, can't we? So let's do so. This will reduce the cost of a Prime Giant. So we're happy to just durdle around, I think, for the time being. The Starlit Mantle, I think, will hopefully let us be a bit more silly. Okay, second Temple Thief. So let's go for Midomi's Prophecy into Midomi's Prophecy. Alright. I think we might just be happy for things to stay as they are while we Midomi's Prophecy to gain 1,000,000 cards. Our opponent's kind of chucking out a bunch of stuff, but it's not really anything that threatening. We've got to be aware that the Temple Thief is going to be a pain in the ass, probably, but we've actually got enough non-enchantment creatures to do well. And also, Eidolon of Philosophy could even be tapped for the extra cards, so I think we're alright. This could get in and trade for like 2 things, which isn't great. So ideally we're looking for the thing that gives all of our stuff flying and get bigger, so that we can fling giants at their face. Starlit Mantle should make it very hard for us to be dealt with on the defense. Alright. There we go. Minervice Prophecy into Minervice Prophecy. And exactly what we wanted. That gives us our counter spell to be able to deal with anything major that Master Salem has got left in their hand. And we've got 2 ways of setting up Eutropa. Lovely. They're pretty cool. We wanna. I like as well for the Starlit Mantle being a flash enchantment means that when Eutropa comes down and would otherwise get dealt with, instead she's gonna hopefully lead to a lot of wasted time for our opposition. This is tough, actually. I'm not really a huge fan of letting our opponent know that we have Ichthyomorphosis, but I don't think we've got any other alternative. So our opponent still doesn't have anything really that worthwhile. But I think we're getting into territory of we'll just have such overwhelming advantage in terms of stuff that I'm... Yeah, there we go. Let's blow out our opponent. Oh look, that doesn't work. Do we want to make our Eutropa bigger? I think we just make our Brian Giant ridiculous. Alright, we got to Ichthy someone. And I think it's going to be Renata because she's providing value to everybody. And we get the first of our giants to the face. We'll also bring in our Thundering Chariot. Lovely, lovely. We've got the Warbriar's Blessing to get rid of anything which is worth getting rid of. Right now, there actually isn't too much that's worth getting rid of. We don't have the mana up for Memory Drain right now, so Brian Giant could get nailed. Okay. Could be kind of tempted to get rid of the Scavenging Harpy because that's going to be worth 7 to the face. Alright. Oh yeah, the Scoffus is going to be a problem. Alright, I don't really want to Warbriar's Blessing the Brian Giant because it's going to be one of those situations where there's just way too many eggs in that basket. So I think we'll just do it on an already enchanted creature. Because I'm aware of the Temple Thief being a thing. Alright, so we've got Memory Drain actually up now. So if our opponent tries anything particularly silly, we'll be able to do this. And also fix our drawers. Lovely. Yeah, I thought the counterspell would be pretty good here. And, as it turns out, it was. Alright, so we're one giant to the face away from putting ourselves up. Not undefeated, but at least 2-0. We can scry through our deck with the Omen of the Sea, which is pretty nice. We're in a very good spot. Eutropa is feeling pretty good. So the Labyrinth of Scophos is going to be problematic. Okay. So we've managed to get our opponent down to 5. At least we'll be able to Eidolon next turn to try and find that other bit of damage to punch through and finish the job. Alright, let's have a look. What do we got? Triton Wavefinder? Yeah, I can live with that. That's going to be our alternate flying creature. Let's see. Do we want to just toss our Brine Giant in? It would trade off with like what? What's the worst case? So the 4/3, like 2 of their creatures. I think Renata will probably get in the way at least once. It does function pretty well on the defense. If not for the Soul Reaper, the Thundering Chariot would do really well because they wouldn't have anything that could block it. But sadly, not the case. Okay. I feel like our deck's better in this situation than theirs is. So I could be totally wrong. Certainly they've got the whole play a lot of black cards, kill our cards kind of situation happening. Oh, there we go. Lovely. That's a lot. And that means if they ever end up with more creatures than we do, then we're in trouble. Hey look, it's a flying creature. And importantly, okay, so they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures that can kill us. So if we go in with the Brine Giant and the Wave Rider, that's 4. Ooh. Then we would have 3 creatures to block with. No, 4. Okay. Okay. We've got the Threnody, which basically negates an attack by itself. So let's see if we can start using our Brine Giant. I'm really hoping that they go for a big block on our Brine Giant, and then we can blow them out. I think that won't happen this turn, though. The Renata's still there as basically a free block. That's what's going to happen. But we need to get out of the way. Yes, a Soul Reaper. So if there's any way of replaying Grey Merchant, we'll just lose, because apparently we found a deck that does better when it's hanging around doing not very much at all than us. The Labyrinth is at least expensive, but it's pretty much an answer to everything. I don't know how much our opponent has in terms of ability to chuck things at our face. So they're now calculating, I think, if they can kill us. So let's force them to at least use up some of their stuff. I'm not sure I actually want to put the Grey Merchant into the graveyard. Okay, is anyone left unblocked? Wait, yes, the answer was yes. I didn't see they were unblocked, and so I lost. Well, crap. I wish the colours were a little bit more visible. Well, that's a pretty lame way to lose that round. Alright, well, as a way to make up for it, let's do a last round of a Theros Beyond Death draft. Because hey, what's better than losing out on a high stakes competition? Well, not a high stakes competition. I'd have to go back and look at the footage to see which one of those things did I not block. I really wish it was clearer. It's like a difference between orange and yellow, between blocked and unblocked, which is a little lame. So this is the end of a green-white draft, in which this is definitely not the best hand this deck can do, but it's a playable hand, and I lost out, as we saw in the previous one, by not going for a playable hand. Opponent's going first. This is alright. I mean, this is not a hand that really goes anywhere, but a lot of the things that make this deck good. Oh, so opponent mulligans down. Sweet. Oh, that's one of them. Destiny Spinner. Okay. We got a little bit more going on. So if we can get up to... Oh, okay. Brilliant. Okay, let's get our Griffin out and in the air. I'm fully expecting our opponents to drop down something which could block a land creature in a row. Okay. Sure. Ooh, maybe the Nyxborn Courser would have made more sense there, actually. So our opponent is low on cards because they had to mulligan. They're playing an aggressive deck. Ideally, they're going to be playing some sort of auras. So there's the first strike aura. There's the do 4 damage aura. Ones which need to be aware of. I really like the libation. Like the sacrifice and enchantment can be really nice. I never feel like this is going to be a bad card. Okay. Yeah, we're fine with that. We've already got a card out of this. So, and if it's going to force them to use a combat trick, fine with me. We'll drop down something that has nice stats into it. as it looks like our opponent is going to be committing in a bunch of stuff. I think in their situation they're kind of hoping that we're going to be running out of resources, and that's not happening. So let's see if we can get in a land. No, but we can make a creature. It's probably too big for them to do with. And even if it wasn't, I'm still okay with that. So, first strikey aura, I guess? Sure, we'll entertain the notion they have the first strike aura. Get hit in the face, because we're going to put something down that's going to get in the way of that anyway. Nexus Wardens will be able to block it, and the first strike aura is only effective when it's first played. So if they've got that, then sure. It's unfortunate for them. Storm Herald is something you wouldn't really want to be playing early on, if the auras aren't actually in the graveyard already. The plus 4 damage aura was probably pretty right here. I don't know if they'll have it. Again, I'm not overly worried if they end up using it to kill a Nexus Wardens, of all things. We've got Nylea, who's basically a guarantee that we'll eventually win, given enough time. There we go, Rarus' Blessing. Alright. It's not actually a very big buff. Okay. I think we get to hit them. Not doing amazingly on the whole land front. Is there a black-red thing? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, Destiny Spinner's not going to do anything for the time being. We need to have 5 land before it really has an ability, but it's okay. The not being able to be counter stuff is not going to really come into it, but I find one more land and I'm in a very good spot. Okay. That's a weird interaction, since test and training only works on creatures that you control. Okay. Yeah. I'm willing to trade out a creature to remove the possibility of having something weird happening and then losing. Not a bad draw. Though there was nothing there at all. Oh, cool. Down to a couple of turns of coursing. Has Storm Herald got something funky? Would we let it through if it did? If they did attack? Maybe. I think Oriad's going to start tossing cards, yeah. Sweet. Well, that takes Storm Herald out of the equation for a little while. So gets us within kill range and a healthy 7 wins. Okay. Hey, there we go. So while I lost out on the tournament game because of not looking closely enough at what I was doing, which is annoying, getting 7 wins is pretty good. Cool. Let's have a look at what these packs are. So I was trying to play around aspects of the Manticore quite a lot. A flash 2s +2/+0 is pretty nice. I love Wings of Hubris. It feels like it's so nice that it's very cheap. Equip is very cheap, and yeah, the usefulness of flying in the Theros Beyond Death draft is it's so crazy. It just feels like there's not enough stuff with reach, or just like random flying creatures, so you could just get beaten to death by flying, and it's basically a win condition by itself. Elite Instructor is okay. Assassin Skirmisher is alright. It's like the Pilgrim, but a lot worse, because it only applies its effect to itself rather than having someone else. Final Death is very nice. Exile for 5 on an instant speed is really, really good. Minions Return, I think, requires a little bit of setup, but with the right creatures, it's going to be pretty nice. The Beloved of the Sea, it seems pretty rubbish for a demigod. You know, costing just 1 more compared to the other demigod stuff just seems really bad. But Thassa's Intervention, however, is amazing. Counter spell and draw spell in the same spell. Love it. And Eutropa the Twice Favored. You're doing a good job. I'm just not up to it. Eats to Extinction. Man, that is a real nice card. And I presume I can't remember who was in the art of that card. I can't remember. I don't know the individual cards of Theros that well, but I think it's very cool. Kill anything. Pretty nice. I don't think we necessarily would have won that last tournament game, just because if our opponent had a way to bring back the Grey Merchant, they would have been fine. But we would have at least gone past that turn. Alright, that's going to be it for now. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.